Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. So why do we get blindsided? Just a few points for you all to think about, to ponder on. First of all, this being blindsided or being betrayed only happens in relationships where we trust the other party, the other person. It could be business partner, it could be a spouse, friend, family, colleague, whoever. But we are, what we feel, in a close relationship with or in close contact with, and that is where they get the leverage to let us down. Of course, we too have the same leverage, but we don't exercise it because we value the person, we value the relationship. And now, after being let down, after our trust being violated, perhaps we might consider the possibility that they never valued us or the relationship they have with us that much. Because when we value someone, we value our relationship with them, we don't cross certain lines, we don't break the trust, we don't erode the sanctity of that relationship. So why does it happen? Part of it is that somewhere people who get betrayed, they choose to ignore the red flags, the small red flags, the small indiscretions that we choose to ignore. And that happens perhaps because maybe we are lonely, maybe our sense of our ability to discern between what is real, what is fake, and what is genuine and what is insincere is dulled out. It could be anything. But in any such huge, let us say, breach of trust that happens, there are always certain small acts of betrayal, certain lies, and certain behavior patterns that precede this, sometimes over months, sometimes over years. And it's not just the other person who's making excuses for his or her or their behavior. We are making excuses for that, and we are accommodating that behavior as well. We are accepting of that behavior. Somewhere it is also connected to a sense of worth. So if we don't have a very wholesome sense of worth, we take in whoever gives us whatever. We take the crumbs whoever offers us. And in fact, if I remember correctly, the German philosopher Nietzsche said in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, I think one of his books, he had said that the lonely one takes the hand of whoever that comes along. Something to that effect, that people who are lonely, they will take up relationships, they will accept whoever offers them. Of course, because they are lonely and we are social animals, and as we saw in the pandemic, being alone, being secluded, being isolated can really drive people nuts. It really plays havoc with their mental health. So, we really crave for connection, we really crave to have intimacy. And that often leads us to accept behaviors that could be exploitative, that could be manipulative, that could be even abusive. Because we've not seen better, because nobody taught us how to set the bar of how we are supposed to be treated. Nobody showed us how is it that someone is supposed to maintain a relationship of trust. How is it that we can negotiate the loyalty, the trust, and let us say the entire gambit and the rules of a certain relationship. It could be anything. It could be a romantic relationship, it could be marital, it could be between siblings, with your friends. But each relationship has in it a certain gambit of actions, behaviors, and expectations. And these need to be carefully negotiated and accepted. But when we don't think we are good enough, when we don't think we are worthy enough, we don't negotiate. We just accept. And then the other person ends up taking us for granted. Of course, that's the whole reason why they are having the relationship with us in the first place, because They take advantage of everything that we have to offer, and yet in return they offer little or not much. And on one hand, we are the ones who are probably devastated, who are an emotional wreck at the end of it all, while they walk away calmly into the sunset because they were not emotionally invested in the first place. And people talk about a lot when it happens in, let us say, marriages or romantic relationships, but I've seen it happen in other relationships also. I've seen it in friends, I've experienced it as a friend, in extended family, siblings, co-workers. So there is a whole array of human relationships, and anywhere where one person tries to take advantage without any concern for the well-being of the other individual is where there is a big potential for being betrayed, for being blindsided. But again, the moment we start understanding that first, how we get treated is not a reflection of who we are or what we deserve, but rather what they are. That's number one. And number two, it is important to slowly heal what's hurting us and develop a healthy sense of trust with ourselves. When we learn to trust ourselves is when we learn to trust our intuition, we learn to trust our judgment, and that is when those small naggings, those small gut feelings that we don't pay attention to will save us from a lot of heartache, will save us from a lot of pain. So I hope you found it interesting to watch, and thank you so much for taking out time to watch the video, and I'll see you soon.